All right, let's connect it up here, guys. Just having a good July 31st, 2022 coming at you. Hopefully you're safe and sound. We're going to just wait for it to connect and everybody to join and be talking about some Walking Dead stuff. And today's the last day of July, and we're getting there, guys. August, then September, and then October, and The Walking Dead will be back. But in August, we have The Walking Dead as well, Tales of the Walking Dead. So we'll talk about a bunch of those things there. If you're watching this on the replay, spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead. Don't know, what you don't want to know, and all that good stuff. But what's going on with my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, and my fighters? I'm One Eye Bright, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about the Walking Dead universe 2022 and 2023. Burtis 1, yo! Richonne news, nothing new from the last time we saw. Isle of the Dead news, a little bit. Rob K, what's up? So I'm excited to talk about just The Walking Dead in general. We'll talk about some different shows that I was watching and, a couple of different things. It's got to fill the void because The Walking Dead is not truly back until October, which is early October, which is great. And we'll talk about a bunch of things there. So we'll wait for YouTube to catch up and everybody to come in and talk about a bunch of different things there too. But last week was San Diego Comic-Con. Big time news about Rick Michonne coming back for their own show. Then we're going to have Isle of the Dead, Daryl show. So we got 3 shows for 2023, plus Fear the Walking Dead. 4 shows. Don't know if Tales of the Walking Dead is going to come back around again. And that's a lot of things. I just feel like The Walking Dead and AMC and Gimple and whoever's involved with it was like, what we're going to do? Andrew Lincoln wants to be off the show, but we can't kill Rick off, obviously, because he's Rick Grimes. At least to not the very end of it, right? You can't kill Rick off because where do you go from there? Once you kill a character off, you can't bring him back. Good afternoon, Wilson. And so we keep the characters alive so we can see them again. But ultimately, I think after all that news, like AMC, The Walking Dead, they're just trying to be Marvel. They're just trying to make have success like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Disney Plus, stuff like that. And it's cool to think you can do that, except it's really difficult to do that. Like Marvel's made it look easy, but it's really hard to have the backing and the cast and the crew and the writing and all these people to do all these great things and to connect the way they could. So the fact of it is that Marvel Cinematic Universe was really great. Rick Grimes went away, and AMC and Gimple and The Walking Dead are like, hey, man, let's get down on this. Let's get down on The Walking Dead movies. Rick, it's going to be a trilogy. It's going to be great. It's going to be 3 movies. You want to watch 1, 2, and 3. Come on, box office numbers. It's going to be huge. Then the pandemic happened. And we were like, hold up. We ain't going to do that. We're going to go streaming style. And streaming is the way of the future. Like, it's kind of annoying to go to the movie theater and do that. And yeah, the big screen is great, and the sound is great, and the popcorn and the snacks, and that's great. But, it's a lot, especially if you got kids and a lot of people and this and that and COVID and everything. It's just a big mess. But streaming service is the way it goes. AMC Plus, Disney Plus, Amazon, Netflix, all those good things. So the big thing about it is they were like, okay, and I'm glad that we're getting the Rick and Michonne show. Some people are disappointed because they want the movies. But I'm excited that we're going to get at least something out of it. If it's 6 episodes, 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, multiple seasons, it doesn't matter. And people are fixated, it's going to be multiple seasons, it's going to be multiple seasons. We didn't even get the first season yet, right? Remember when they talked about the movies? They didn't happen. At least this looks to be happening. Confirmed. Denai Guerrera plays Michonne. Andy Lincoln plays Rick Grimes. They came out and told us. It wasn't Gimple just telling us. We actually heard it from the cast of the show, the stars of the show, which changes everything. You buy into it. What if Gimple was the only one that said it? We'd be like, I don't know about this guy. He said a lot of things in the past, but the stars came out and told us. Are they filming now? Are they going to film in August? Excuse me. Are they going to film very soon? I hope so. Are we going to get multiple seasons? That'd be great. But I want it to be good. I want it to be rewarding. Ethan asks Q&A, how long do you think the Walking Dead universe is going to last? Great question. As of right now, it's 2023. I think they may make it to 2024, but how, when, what shows will be around, we're not sure. Is Isle of the Dead going to be 2 seasons? If it is, it'll be 2024 most likely. Daryl, will he have 1 season of his own show and then the Daryl and Carol show in 2024? Does Rick and Michonne get 2 seasons, so 2024? Does Tales of the Walking Dead get another show? Does Fear of the Walking Dead get another show? You know, if we get multiple seasons of these shows, it'll probably be 2024. Maybe the last show or 2, maybe 2025. And that's an amazing run. But by that time, you know, that's like 3 years away. So that's crazy to think that way too. So I think that's the most logical thing for me is what I could see it. Because it's dying off. People don't care about it as much. And we'll see how the last season ends, how it goes, if the finale actually feels like a finale, if it sets things up. But then what I'm reading and seeing in articles and everything, it just feels like it's going to be a show finale. It's not setting up the spin-offs, but it has to, because how does Maggie and Negan go away? It just there has to be some carryover. It just has to be there too. So, Jonathan Wilder, I watched the Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch wrestling match, and then I saw Bayley come out and 2 unknown people, I don't know who they are, come out, and I was like, done, boop, didn't watch it after that. I would have liked to watch the Usos match, and that's probably about it, because I don't care about Ronda Rousey and Roman Reigns and those people at all, so I didn't really watch it at all myself. How about you? Did you enjoy it? So, Michael's saying, they didn't mention Fear at all at Comic-Con. Yeah, well, because they didn't want to take away from the Walking Dead ending, and it wasn't a Walking Dead universe panel. It was a Walking Dead panel, and a Tales of the Walking Dead panel, so Fear of the Walking Dead has no bearing on any of those shows. And, yeah, if it was a Fear of the Walking Dead panel, then they got to talk about that, but it's there where it goes. So Risa asks, people don't care as much? I'm confused. Yeah, The Walking Dead is not as huge as it was. Generally, people could care less about The Walking Dead. It doesn't get as many viewers as much as it used to get. Seasons 4, 5, and 6 were the peak of The Walking Dead. Season 7 as well, finding out what happened with the Negan lineup. After that, it's been a steady decline of viewers and ratings and everything that as well. So that's what I mean by people don't care as much. Because if they did, they would have the same amount of viewers and ratings as they would previous seasons. And, yeah, it's just, like I said, I don't know how to say it. People don't care as much. They just don't. Wilson, Q&A. One of the Tales of the Walking Dead episodes goes 35 years after the Walking Dead outbreak. Do you think any of the surviving members of our group will be seen? No, and no. So what I watched online was that some guy, I think from Comic-Con or something, asked Channing Powell, Danny Ramirez, Samantha Morton, and Terry Crews about, will it connect? Everything I'm seeing, is it before the zombie apocalypse? Is it this? Is it the start of the zombie apocalypse? Is it that? And then Channing Powell said, I guess one of them takes place 35 years after the outbreak. So I don't know if she was joking or what, but I don't think we're going to see anybody from The Walking Dead on the show. If it is, great. I mean, besides Samantha Morton plays Alpha, maybe we see Tyrese. Maybe it's not, but I'm not gonna wait and hope for these things, right? Like, so if you have expectations, like this is what's gonna happen for a lot of people. Everybody who thinks Rick and Michonne are gonna show up in the final season of The Walking Dead, the final episode or the final couple episodes, and it doesn't happen, they're gonna be pretty pissed off. And they're going to be like, we were lied to. I thought Michonne and Rick were showing up. I can't believe this didn't happen. Now, if they do show up, that would be amazing. That would be great. But I'm not thinking they're going to, because it doesn't fit, in my opinion, by multiple reasons. So for all the people that think and all this stuff's going to happen, and if it doesn't, we have to manage our expectations. We have to think about, what do you think is actually going to happen? Because The Walking Dead main show is going to be from season 1 to season 11. Rick and Michonne are very big parts of that. Will they show up? We don't know. But I'm not going to hope and think and wish they will. I still think it fits very well that Michonne or Rick show up in... It's just the thing where I think that it just connects as a post-credit scene too. So... Isaiah says, bro, I can't see you on screen. I can hear you talking. So is that what everybody can't see me? or can you see me? John Cena, can't see me. Let me know in the comments because I don't know what else to do because I see myself right there in the stream. So Chad's good. People are there. So try and like go back out and come back in. Isaiah's trying like the two. So try and like not like restart it, I guess, on there too. So yeah, okay. Yeah, try refreshing. Jonathan Wilder Q&A, but not. I recommend you watch the last man match between, excuse me, Brock and Roman, best match of the night. Also, you can say who you saw with Bailey was Dakota Kai and from NXT. So NXT people, yeah, I don't know NXT people at all, so I don't know how that goes. But yeah, I saw something happened with Brock Lesnar came in with a tractor or something, and they were in Nashville. And it's pretty cool because the last Walker Stalker convention I went to, or one of the last ones I went, was in Nashville. So I got to see the bridge going over to the stadium where the Titans play, and it was really cool to see that as well. So Yenzi, hey, what's up? So yeah, so everybody else can see pretty good. To try it and restart on there too. So yeah, okay. He says, "Oh, I can see you now." Okay, good. I want to make sure everyone's all right there too. So there you go, guys. My first 11 minutes of the stream. So yeah, I've just started book 17 of Fight for Us because I think about writing and stuff all the time. Like I'm in my car and I have pads and paper in my car, so I just write everything down too. So I like the idea of having, a mindset of writing stuff down. You ever drive around or be around and you're in a store or something like that too, and you think about it, zombie apocalypse. If it happened, what would you think? It's just crazy to think about. Would you think a zombie apocalypse would happen? Would you be safe? Would you look for exits on there too? Like Chris Hardwick said, that in the Comic-Con panel, like, oh, I do think about, how to get out of here and what to do on there as well. So it's kind of cool. It's cool to think that, we're not in a zombie apocalypse, so it's good fictional on there too, because the zombie apocalypse would be pretty terrible in my eyes too. So writing stuff when I have, just ideas and inspiration, I'm like, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to get this going. I'm going to have some stuff there just because it makes sense to strike while the iron's hot and write stuff down. Because if you think about it, you may forget what you were going to do in writing. So I write stuff down as well all the time. It helps me in life, let alone with my book series. So book 17 is underway. It's only like 5 pages, but it's a start, and you got to start somewhere too. So I love the idea of The Walking Dead still going strong. But how do you guys feel about the rest of the Walking Dead franchise? Like after the main show ends. To me, it's going to probably feel like Endgame in Marvel Cinematic Universe when, like, it feels like, someone said it perfectly. Like if you ever play a video game and you finish the game, but there's still side missions and side things, side quests to work on. So you saw the ending, you completed the ending, but then you're going around and leveling up or doing whatever too, right? That's kind of what I think The Walking Dead's going to feel like, potentially. It feels like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When I watch Thor, it feels like Thor is good. I mean, I like the movie and I enjoyed it, but it's just like it carries on after the main climax of the stuff, but you're like, wait, there's a little bit more. I don't know, the substance and just, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I hope it doesn't feel that way too. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, should Daryl get a new haircut for the new series? I don't think so. I think Daryl's going to keep that hair as long as he wants to. Christy Wells Reese, hey Doc, looking forward to tonight's Talking Dead special. It's not on tonight, Christy. It's actually on next week on August 7th. So it won't be on tonight. Unless maybe it's on AMC Plus tonight. Is it on tonight for AMC Plus? I just know that it's advertised as August 7th for that because August 14th is Tales of the Walking Dead. So I did the math on, or the calendar dates that I was looking at it too. So we have the 7th is August 7th for the Walking Dead Universe special, where they'll probably cover the Walking Dead universe as a whole, but really talk about Tales of the Walking Dead, maybe update on a couple things. Then we have the 14th, where we have the Walking Dead, or Tales of the Walking Dead first episodes, 101 for AMC and 102 for AMC Plus. So then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that's done on September 18th. And then on the 25th, we could have a preview special, but there's nothing on there just yet we know of. And then August 2nd is The Walking Dead returns. And The Walking Dead is going to be October 2nd for AMC, and AMC Plus is the word. There's been a lot of people talking about that AMC is not going to show the finale on AMC Plus early. Somebody wrote, like, AMC Plus is not showing the finale, so you're not going to be able to watch it at all. I think, if anything, it's not going to be watched early. So you may have to wait and watch it the same day, maybe even the same time. But I don't know. There's still a lot of people. The people have said that a while ago. Like this was like months ago when someone said they're not going to show the final episode on AMC Plus like a week early. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, people are going to complain and stuff about everything you do and what they do, but ultimately it's going to be what it is. We're going to watch it when we watch it. And that's how it goes. So I just hope the finale is worth watching, because a lot of shows' finales suck. They're terrible, right? A lot of finales are not good in the whole of the show. You know, there's only been a handful of shows that I think of that I'm like, oh, the finale was pretty good. My wife and I were talking about Game of Thrones because House of the Dragon comes on August 21st. And that's going to be tough to watch. Like, do you watch House of the Dragon or Tales of the Walking Dead? Are they both? Do people watch both shows, or will they? I don't know. But House of the Dragon has me a little more interested than Tales of the Walking Dead, because Tales of the Walking Dead seems like 6 episodes, 6 bottle episodes that are just going to be self-contained. Majority, if not all, of the cast members are going to die, except for Alpha. We know because she died on the show. But so 5 other episodes of characters that are, there's probably going to be a lot of people dying in the Alpha episode too, but not Alpha, of course, and Lydia, because they died, or Lydia's still alive, but Alpha died on the show. Yenzi Q&A, do you think there is a slight chance Morgan will show up in the last episodes of The Walking Dead? I would say no, because the last time we saw him, it was such a timeline difference of he was with Madison on the boat going to the other boat in, I guess, the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know what that water was there, because if Morgan was in Louisiana, where are they? It just doesn't make sense for him to actually get to Virginia. It just doesn't. But that doesn't say, never say never, right? They'll have to say that. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, should every surviving main character on The Walking Dead return and have their own spinoff? No, I don't think every character should, but I do hope that a lot of these characters and actors will show up in these spinoffs, maybe in a minor role, maybe in an episode. Hey, how cool would it be if it's the Maggie and Negan show, or the Daryl show, or the Richonne show, or whatever show, and this show and that show, that we see Aaron or Father Gabriel or Eugene or Mercer or something. Like, that'd be really cool to see. It would really feel like the world is still big. Like, I don't want to feel like we're getting the main show done, boop, move on to spinoffs, and all we get is the characters that are in it. And if that's the way it goes, hopefully the characters are good. We're going to have new characters. We're going to have this. We're going to have new people added to the show. You have to. Like, we can't have Daryl just on his own episode walking around aimlessly, killing walkers or just doing whatever in the middle of nowhere doing nothing. He has to have a connection and a story and some reason there too. And, you know, I made the joke, like, maybe he gets a helicopter and he flies over there. Maybe he gets a boat and he sails over there. I don't know. Well, why does he get to Europe? How does he get to Europe? I'm just not sure. We have to see. Rob K, which dead character would be cool to have their own show? So do you mean, like, Rob K, like, which Walking Dead character, or like which dead Walking Dead character? Like, what do you mean by that, Rob K? Because I do like the idea of having, if my favorite character that's a dead Walking Dead character to have their own show before they died, obviously, would be Jesus. I think it would be a great story to have. And I think that would be a really good character to have, just regardless if he was dead or not, is to have his own show, because you could see where he came from, how he got to Hilltop, what happened there. But Hilltop looks so different compared to the first seasons when we saw it. So we'll see. You know, Amber Turd says the governor. I like the governor. I like the idea too. I think that makes sense as well. So we'll see how it fits. I think, you know, I personally think that majority of the characters are going to survive at the end of the show, because they want to leave it open-ended for the characters to have their own chance to be in a spinoff or be in there as well too. Wilson says Abraham would be good. I like that too. I like Abraham's army. How Abraham met Rosita, met Eugene. Well, we already know how he met Eugene. And so it'd be Abraham and Eugene going down there. So there are two. So we'll have to see if it makes sense. But there's a lot of stuff going on there. I don't know if it's going to make sense, if it's going to be worth watching. But I'm going to watch. Just like Fear the Walking Dead, right? Season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead was terrible, in my opinion. One of the worst seasons of the show there was. It shouldn't have been 16 episodes. It was just dragging on. It was just all over the place. But season 6 was so good. Like, it was one of the best seasons. But I'm still going to watch season 8. We got to see what happens to it as well. So, Jonathan Neal, I already answered this question, but I'll answer again. Is there really a 35-year time jump, you think? I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be a 35-year time jump because it would be 35 years from the start of the zombie apocalypse, and if we're there 10 years. So when we saw the start of the zombie apocalypse, it was actually on Fear the Walking Dead was the start. And then we saw it on The Walking Dead. There's been a lot of time there too. And I answered this before with Channing Powell talking about 35 years in there, blah, blah, blah. It would be more like a 25-year because I don't think it would be like from where The Walking Dead is 35 years later. I just don't know. But I don't know if she was joking or she was serious or whatever. At the end of the day, I don't really care. I'm not keeping track of, hey, it's been 35 years. Like, it makes no difference if you see Anthony Edwards and he's 35 years later. Because if it is, the zombies should have pretty much been all wiped away. Like, if it started today in 35 years, how in the world would so many of the zombies still be alive? The walkers still be alive? I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense where, sure, they would have a life expectancy or a lifespan for its 5-10 years or whatever, and then new walkers would be there. But at the time, the population would just run out. And new walkers would be there, but then people would put them down or whatever. But if it's one or two become walkers compared to the millions that would be there before the billions, I mean, what it would be, I don't know. It's just hard to say. I'm not gonna get too caught up in that. It's just the timeline of things. Just as we're approaching the end, it just doesn't really make that much sense to me to really care that much about it too. Like 35 years or 25 years or whatever. I just want it to wrap up. I want the Commonwealth stuff to end. I want Lance to be gone. I want the Miltons to be their power taken away. The Commonwealth gets taken it gets run by one of our group. It would make sense if it's Ezekiel, if he lives, because in the comic it's Maggie. But if Maggie leaves, who's going to run it? I don't know. And we know now that Negan is not going to die. Like, remember all the people that thought that if you know the comics, you know that Rick gets shot by Sebastian in the comics. A lot of people thought that was going to happen on the show, and it still might. It still could happen. But who would be the Rick character death? A lot of people thought Negan. Well, if Negan's with Maggie, that's not going to happen. Could go to Ezekiel, could go to Aaron, could go to who? Who else do you think would fit? I don't know if it's going to happen because from potential spoilers, we've seen a lot of the characters still alive at the end of the series, too. Yenzi asked, how do you expect The Walking Dead to end? Kind of like I said. Commonwealth falls. Someone runs the Commonwealth from our group. Yumiko is probably the judge overseeing the law system there. Ezekiel may run the Commonwealth. Makes sense. He gets his new kingdom. Hilltop is fixed up. Alexandria is fixed up. Oceanside is still around. And our group is on doing their own missions. Daryl goes away for some reason. Maggie and Negan go away for some reason. People are running Alexandria. Whoever is still left alive, if it's Father Gabriel or if it's Aaron or whoever, who's running Alexandria? Somebody. And it becomes a flourishing thing. I would love for the CRM to have connections, but I just don't know anymore. I just don't know if that's going to happen or not. Because CRM has been such a minor thing on The Walking Dead and on Fear the Walking Dead. It was a major thing on The World Beyond, but World Beyond was only 2 seasons. So how much could you explore with it? I don't know. So let me see. Amy, how do you think Rick would have taken care of the Whisperers? Well, that would have been tough because they didn't have guns and ammunition. They didn't have a bunch of things. I think they probably would have had to do what they had to do. Like, In the comics, the Whisperers do attack and burn up Hilltop. They do attack places. It's pretty cool how it played out without Rick. It probably would have been a certain way, because basically the Whisperer War was a way to whittle kind of some people down, have some battle sequences and stuff, and take out some of the walkers and then weaponize the walkers, which is always good idea in the zombie apocalypse. But it's just something that I think would have been kind of similar to the way it played out too. Amy Litton says, shout out. But I'm excited. It feels like we're getting there. Like, as today's the last day in July, tomorrow's August 1st, and as we have the August 7th special, and then Tales of the Walking Dead. Tales of the Walking Dead, I think I don't know if it's going to be amazing or good or decent or crappy or terrible or worth watching or not. Only time will tell. But because there's a lot of stuff there that looks like they filmed in a lot of previous locations, because they filmed in Georgia, obviously. There's only so many roads and bridges and stuff, and we like the continuity. We like the familiarity of things. We like to be familiar with the locales. Are we going to see Terminus? Are we going to see the bridge? Are we going to see the other bridge? Are we going to see this? Are we going to see Atlanta? Are we going to see, it's a lot of cool things where we could see. So we'll have to see what actually happens. If there's a jump of 25 years or 35 years, is it going to be where a train goes somewhere and it's some rural place that's, who knows what it's actually going to be too. I'm kind of interested to see how it goes down. But it's kind of feel weird now after we've watched episode to episode to episode. Like, remember in season 7, when it was season 7, episode 6, I believe, when we went to Oceanside, and it was the Tara goes to Oceanside and Heath goes away episode? That's a huge bottle episode. And yeah, we're introduced to Oceanside and we're this, and Tara goes back to Alexandria and stuff. And not a lot happens, but a lot happens kind of a thing. If that's kind of how it feels in like all the episodes, it's kind of weak, Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, should Morgan have his own spinoff when Fear finally gets to the end? I would think so. I would hope so. I hope Morgan is a huge character in the Walking Dead universe. I mean, he's just as important to the Walking Dead universe as Rick is early on, right? And then he comes back around, and it's good. He's in season 1 and season 3 and season 5. And, it's pretty, or I guess season 4 into season 5. No, it's season 5 into, it's kind of crazy to think in the season 6. So he's in a lot of different seasons, and then he was taken over to Fear the Walking Dead, and now he's trying to help that show out and do this and do that. So I would like to see Morgan again. I don't know if he needs his own show. I don't know if it needs that. Maybe he can just pop up. Like, it would be great. Morgan would be a great character to have in any of the spin-off shows. I think it would really help out too. And any of if you have Fear the Walking Dead characters show up there, it would make sense. World Beyond characters. I really hope World Beyond characters show up in the Richonne show. I don't know if anybody cares about them, but there are some characters that I think could help the story. It would make sense. It would help the continuity, the familiarity, the stuff we kind of like as an audience. I think it would make sense too. So I think Morgan just joins one of the spin-off shows or shows up a little bit more that way. I think that would help too. Michael Singer says, Walgreens already has Halloween candy. I love this time of year. Can't wait to fall in football. Then Walking Dead coming. We are blessed to be alive. That's true, Michael. That's a good way of looking at it too. Let's get to the cooler weather. I don't know where you guys are living, but I know here in Florida it's hot. Like, it's hot everywhere. But hopefully it's starting to start to cool down a little bit. It's tough running the air conditioning for 14 hours a day, trying to save some money with the electric bills on there too. But, man, it's just crazy to think that we're coming up on August, which will be Tales of the Walking Dead. And then when that's done, Walking Dead, and then that's over. And then hopefully we'll get some dates for when the Fear the Walking Dead will be on TV and so on too. I was going to ask, Brad, do you think when it's all said and done, Rick dies at any point? I think so. I think Rick dies at the very end of a series. I think it would be... It's kind of would be fitting like a Game of Thrones kind of style that a big character dies, and Rick, I think, dies that way too. Maybe protecting Judith and RJ. I always kind of thought Rick protecting Carl would be a good way for him to go out, just because that's kind of where I could see Rick doing that. But now he's got Judith and RJ, and I think that would be pretty... it would make sense that he dies protecting his family. He gets back to his family, finds them, saves them, and gets wounded and dies in the process too. But we'll see. I don't know what the plan is for it. Again, I don't write for them, so I don't know what their plan is. And hopefully it's just rewarding. That's all I can say too, you know. So we got a lot going on with the Walking Dead universe coming up. I do like the idea of 2022 and 2023 still carrying the Walking Dead franchise. You know, it's a big stuff coming up, guys. And like Mike said, it's a good time to be alive. You know, we're blessed to be alive, and it's true, right? So my wife and I, we watched. I was going through the Amazon Fire Stick, and I was like, you know, let me check this movie out, right? 2012 A Zombie Apocalypse. Ving Rhames is in it. I was like, oh, okay, you know, that's kind of cool. And I don't know what the deal is with this, but I think it was a sci-fi movie or something. And man, it was terrible. It was so bad. It was a couple actors walking down the street. They come across something, try to get candy out of a machine, make all this noise. These walkers come around, and it was just terrible. And then Ving Rhames comes out and, you know, shotguns a couple zombies, and then this lady has a sword. She was like discount Michonne, and it was just terrible. The graphics were terrible. The zombies looked terrible. It was like, wow. And I was like, I think I watched it for like 5 minutes. I was like, boop, nope, done. Can't do that. And you have, or at least I had, I've always had respect and, you know, affinity, and just thinking The Walking Dead has done a great job with the walkers and the story and a lot of the writing. Some of it's been weak and bad and plot holes and stuff, but overall it's been great. And the walkers have looked great, and the prosthetics and stuff have looked amazing. And it looks great because when you watch it, you watch other stuff, you have an appreciation for that. It's like you don't know what you got until it's gone. That's kind of what you feel like when you watch something else. You're like, wow, this is a zombie movie, 2012 Zombie Apocalypse. If you want to go check it out, it's on Amazon, and Sci-Fi, I think, is what it was on, and it's terrible. It's like Sharknado stuff, just terrible. I was like, wow. And then my wife and I are going through the movies to watch something last night, and we come across this movie called Cooties. You know, like your little kid, like, you have cooties. And it stars Elijah Wood, Rainn Wilson, and just a couple other people. And it's crazy because it's like a zombie apocalypse story that's a comedy, and it's just over the top crazy and funny. And I'm like, man, if you ever have a chance to watch it, Cooties, you definitely got to watch it. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's funny, and it's supposed to be funny. I like that, and I like the Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. That's pretty funny too. Like I do like the idea of comedies being in. It doesn't have to be so serious all the time with some of these movies. And I like a good comedy. If you know that's what it is, it's supposed to be cheesy and campy. That's good too, right? So Rob K says Cooties versus Gremlins versus Ghoulies. Man, that's a crazy one. I got to go Gremlins myself because, you know, Ghoulies is just so bad. The cheese factor is probably Ghoulies, Cooties, and Gremlins in that order. But I'm going to go with Gremlins. Is just the one because I grew up in the 80s, and Gizmo is just too darn cute. That's for sure too. So it's just takes me back there as well too. And we also finished Resident Evil on Netflix. And I don't want to give anything away, but Resident Evil, to me, I grew up playing the video games. Like I said, I played the first one, the second one, the third one. Critters, yeah, with those little furball things. Those critters are hilarious too. But Resident Evil, the show on Netflix, is basically nothing to do with Resident Evil games besides Raccoon City, Albert Wesker, you know, a big crocodile. Like it's just crazy. They have some stuff, and I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, I personally like the movie that was made with the Amel, I forget his name, and it was trying to be like the live action version of the games, and it was good. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. But we got to get to the mansion. We got to get to the things. We got to go through the sequences and play. And they had little aspects of Resident Evil in there, especially, you know, Albert Wesker. But I don't know. It if you probably didn't know the video games, what do you guys think of that show? What did you think of it? To me, it reminded me a lot of World Beyond, but like Resident Evil style, because I don't know, but it was okay. It was something to watch, and it was just I mean, I have affinity for the Resident Evil games, and so how we do it there too. Isaiah Bry, have you ever the Goonies from the 80s movies? Yeah, I've seen the Goonies. I love the Goonies. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. I love. Fun fact: the guy who played Sloth, I'm forgetting his name. I believe he was a football player, and he actually went to University of Tampa, that I went to undergrad in, and he was. I'm blanking on his name now, but I believe it's the same person who played Sloth on Goonies. On there too, and it's the classic kids can take on the world kind of scenario and situation there too. It reminds me a lot of, I would assume the Duffer Brothers got a lot of inspiration from the Goonies with Stranger Things, because it just reminds me of that. Like, they get the bikes and they're riding and they do this and they got to solve puzzles and figure stuff out, and just there's not really adults helping them very much. It just reminds me of that too, and that's why I think it works. It works very well too. So, David, Q&A, do you consider our group bad guys? No, I think our group is good guys, and we've been following them from the beginning, and that's kind of who we follow as well. Just like, do you think Tony Soprano is a good guy or a bad guy? Do you think Negan is a good guy or a bad guy? I guess it matters your perspective there too. But in the zombie apocalypse, you have to do things. You're the good guy, you're a hero, and you live long enough to see yourself become the villain or whatever the quote is. And it's true, in a zombie apocalypse, you have to survive. You have to fight to survive. You're going to have to do questionable things. Even the best people, if you're going to stay alive, you got to do stuff like that, unfortunately. And how bad this stuff is and this and that is debatable and there, but ultimately you're going to have to do some villain bad type things time and time again. But what are the reasons you're doing them for is the question, too. How about you, David? Do you think our group is... That's a good question, guys. Do you think Rick's group, our group, Daryl's group, Carol, those are the bad guys? What do you think? Because I don't. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A. How would Morgan have handled the Whispers if he had stayed on the main show? Also, haven't mentioned how much I miss Morgan, but hate Fear. Morgan probably just would have taken him out with his bow staff, and Morgan probably would have developed a couple things to fight the Whisperers, and he would have had some booby traps and stuff. We know he could do that in season 3 on there too. So I think that Morgan would have been very useful and very important to the Whisperer War, and would have been to take out a bunch of different Whisperers and Walkers on there as well. It would have been awesome to see him fight some Whisperers and different Walkers and how he would have taken them out. It would have been pretty cool to see. I think he would have come up with some different booby traps too. It's just one of those debatable things. Is we got our cast, and that's how it was. And Rob K says Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins, says Star Wars ripped off the Gremlins when they created Grogu. Kind of weird. I could see Grogu being a gremlin kind of thing with those ears and whatever, but I don't think so. I mean, it's basically little Yoda. You could say the same thing about Yoda. You could say the same thing, like who came first and who was this, and Gremlins are bad and Grogu was good. So I don't know. It's tough to say on there too. Man, so Mass Ninja is gonna. This is the third time I'm answering this question. What do you think about one of the Tales episode possibly being set 35 years in the future? So that's like the big. That's a big talking point, right? So I've already answered this. This is my third time. I personally don't care. I don't think it's 35 years from now. Like, we're gonna have lightsabers and they're gonna have tech and they're gonna have the electricity back on. Like, I don't think that's what it's gonna be. I think it's going to be 35 years in the future from the start of it. So we've already been in the zombie apocalypse, like 10 years with our group. So is it 25 years from there? Is it not? I don't think it's going to be this great episode type of thing from it. And again, I don't really care too much about the 35 years timeline, because from what we're seeing in the trailer, nothing is really set in the futuristic stuff, except for maybe Terry Crews going down in the bunker type of thing, because the A-Train episode looks like it's him fighting off a mob of people and he's being blamed for something. And then I don't know if it's the Anthony Edwards episode. It's not the Alpha one, obviously. I think it's going to be the two girls that work for the Full Circle insurance thing or whatever. I think that's going to be the start of the zombie apocalypse. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. In 35, like, and the zombie apocalypse started today. In 35 years, the world would be a barren place. I just don't think the zombies would live very long, and I think, I don't know. I think they would just have to be. They would have to start winding down. So I don't know. We'll have to see. There's been a lot of talk because of the thing that Channing Powell said in an interview at Comic-Con, I believe. I don't know if there was other stuff in Entertainment Weekly or whatever it came from. But where is everybody seeing that information from? The only time I saw it was Channing Powell saying that during the interview at Comic-Con. And she said it's 35 years. So I don't know if she was joking or what it is. I just don't know what's actually going to look like. And again, I don't think it would really be that much to it. Like, everything would start to fall apart. Like, so many people would have died. There would maybe be a couple communities in the world if people. It's tough to say. It's tough to say. But I do like the idea too. Man, John, your questions today are about who would be in the Whispers instead of Negan. Well, Shane, I don't know how Shane would be without his shotgun and weapons there too. Shane was a little too crazy for stuff at times, so I don't think Shane would have ever made it to the Whispers. I think he would have made it to the lineup and died in the lineup, or died in the war with Negan and that way. But I think that one of the biggest people that would have been great for the Whisper War probably would have been Morgan. Rick would have been good too, because he would have come up with some ideas. But a lot of his ideas didn't really work out, or they didn't work out too great, or there's always snags in the plan. Like, there was always problems that he came up with and never really worked out. They made it work, but it never really occurred right, in my opinion too. Yeah, see, I'm with Chad. He says 35-year time jump would be kind of cool, except you figure the zombies would died up. Exactly. So without a food source, I'm guessing, the zombie, even if it was like 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, that's a super long time. 20 years? That's crazy. 20 years, you think zombies would still be alive? No, they would decay. They've already started to. Remember when the walkers were stuck in the tree and they were breaking down and they were in the woods and, I don't know. They would just, their bodies and their bones would just literally start falling apart in a couple years, in my opinion, too, unless somebody did something to preserve them or feed them, or I don't know, too. So, Christy Wells Reese, Doc, what do you think about the modified walkers that can run and climb walls? So, great question, Christy. The new variant cohort walkers, the new and improved walkers, Jonathan Wilder, Morgan versus Beta. I mean, how are we dealing with? Well, Morgan don't die, so Morgan would take out Beta or wound Beta. That's for sure, is my opinion. But so the new variant cohort walkers that can open doors and climb walls and run fast, and if they're faster, stronger, bigger, faster, stronger, the virus mutated and it just is better now to stay alive too. So I think the main reason they're doing this is because, one, of the pandemic, because of the viruses and mutations, and it's kind of people can buy into it a little bit more. But also, more importantly, is that it's season 1. The walkers are climbing over fences and turning doorknobs and holding rocks and bricks and trying to break windows and picking up stuffed animals. So they're like, you know what? What makes sense for this to happen? Oh, variant cohort walkers. New and improved mutated virus of the zombie apocalypse virus. So it makes sense that we would have it connect season 1 to season 11, because when it's the first season, you want to start it off fresh and do what you do and keep it going. When it's the last season, you want to come back. Callbacks, connections, Easter eggs, stuff that made sense there, wrap stuff up, clean up the plot holes, clean up the, whatever. Kind of just tie it all up, wrap it all up, and be like, dun da da da, finale, see you guys, later. And I think that's kind of what they're doing here. It's crazy to think that it's the last part of the last season of 11 seasons for these walkers to be like, you know what? These walkers can climb walls now. They can do, and Aaron all of a sudden is like, I heard about them walkers. I never seen it, but those walkers said it was always a thing, but I never saw it. So you never saw any of these walkers in your travels, any of this stuff here. Plus, you have Alexandria. You have walls. Why are they just climbing stuff now? It just seems like it should have happened sooner. It probably should have happened in season 7. It probably would have helped the show a little bit more. And so season 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we would have seen it a little bit more. It would have made sense. But it's just, to me, it's a last-ditch effort to connect with the first season, but also have a way to go in the future. You know they're going to be there for the Negan show or Negan and Maggie show. You know they're going to be around there for all the other spinoffs now because that's going to be the new norm, and that's what I think it's going to be too. So, Jonathan Wilder, do you think Beta fell in love with Alpha? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think he had feelings for her as a person that is leading and caring for the group, but I don't know if falling in love is a thing that he would be a part of for that too. I just think he accepted her and was following her lead too, and just bought into it for sure too. Harlem World says Rick ruined the show by leaving. I don't think so. I don't think he ruined the show. I mean, what ruined the show for a lot of people was killing 2 beloved characters off in the Negan lineup. So I think you should have killed off Glenn, and then Abraham dies in the war. Carl's still alive. Like I wonder if it's like it's debatable. A lot of people think Carl's death on the show hurts the show more than anything else. What do you think? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just a matter of opinion. But I don't think Rick ruined the show. Like Rick went away in season 9, episode 5, and since his departure, I think the show has been fine. I don't think it's been any less. I don't think it's been any worse because Rick went away. The story has been what it's been, and Daryl has really picked up the slack, and Rick's story has been a couple of different parts with, just different characters, and that's what they kind of done time and time again. So I think it makes sense too. So Xmas Girl Q&A. Aaron talking about what he heard about climbing door opening walkers is actually a plot hole. Wouldn't he have mentioned it to the group when the Whispers were first introduced? Yeah, I mean, like I said, the thing with it is they want to just wrap it all up. The walkers climbed over stuff, and now they're going to end climbing over stuff too and turning doorknobs. And we're going to have, I hope every episode from episode 17 to 24, I hope every episode has callbacks, Easter eggs, and I guess foreshadowing. But big thing I wanted them to have is the big connections, for everything too. I think it would be pretty cool to see callbacks to previous seasons and just things there too. And I do want to see a CRM connection, a major connection too. Like they built up the whole idea that there was a resistance, the Commonwealth, resist the Commonwealth. The guy was, a Commonwealth soldier and he lost his job, and then he was, threatened Max, and then Rosita found this stuff, and then nothing really happened with any of that. As far as we've really known, it kind of just went away. We haven't really seen this underground stuff. They're probably going to come out during the war and the battles here that our group will have some help with Commonwealth people, but it was kind of like jumping around and forcing it a little bit too much too. Xmas Girl Q&A, do you consider Jadis a villain? Yeah, I don't think Jadis is a hero. I'm not going to think Jadis. So if there's hero and villain, I'm going with villain. She's not on the hero side of anything myself. And, there too. The other thing, guys, remember when Negan saw the helicopter, Jadis, Father Gabriel, Jadis, heard the person on the radio. Like, is that ever going to come up? Like, I hope so, right? Like, I really hope, like there's certain things, like, maybe Negan talks about it and he hears, like, if CRM doesn't come, I don't know. It's just CRM needs to come up in a major way. It just makes sense that Negan is connected with it too. And it just, you know, the helicopter stuff and Jadis and, you know, I don't know too. So Dragon says, Jadis is the same as Rick. Please explain how Jadis is the same as Rick. I don't think so. Rick has never really had followers like Jadis did. He never really was part of CRM. He kind of did his own thing to protect his family. Jadis really didn't have a family. She had a group that became her family, but I don't know. I see what you're getting at, but I kind of don't as well. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, Abraham versus Beta in a straight-up fight. Fight! You got to go Abraham. You know, Abraham's got some military training. He could do that. And I think he would fight dirty, too. That'd be pretty cool. Chad McCarthy, Q&A. Do you think the CRM created the variants? No, I think it just happened. I think it's just a mutation. I would love for that to happen. Like, that would be cool. Like, if we get the variants because of what Hope did. Like, Hope had the cure. Hope is so smart. Hope is great. Well, Hope made variants. That would be a nice twist. Now, that would be pretty good, too. I think it would be pretty awesome to see that World Beyond stuff come full circle, and they thought they figured it out when they were like, oh, no, we actually made the zombies worse, you know, or something, you know. They thought the cure happened, and then, poop. No, I think that would be really pretty interesting. Amber. Who do you think Daryl is carrying in the new trailer? I think it's Judith. I think it's Judith as well. Judith. But yeah, guys, we're getting there. We're getting closer. Every Sunday is another Sunday, and the next Sunday is going to be the preview special. I hope we get some quality information. Like, Gimple's involved, so I don't think Gimple's going to give us anything. That's really great. But I do hope that we get some information. I hope that we get some stuff. They're probably going to talk about Tales of the Walking Dead predominantly. And then we'll probably get something. I would like to have, if it's an hour long, give a half hour of Tales of the Walking Dead, and then another half hour for divided up among the Richonne stuff, Daryl show, Fear the Walking Dead, and Maggie, Isle of the Dead. So you could have half of that, or, you know, break it up into 15 minutes of each thing, but I doubt they will. I think we'll have a little bit of information about this, talk about Fear the Walking Dead filming most likely. So I don't know. It's just, we'll see. Hopefully we get some good information, but I don't think we're going to get that many nuggets of great information. Vivian P, hello. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A. How would Carl have handled the whispers? Would he sneak in there like he was to sneak on Negan's truck? I don't know. Carl had one eye, so he's not fooling anybody with anything with the whisperer skin mask and stuff on there as well. I don't think so. I think Carl would have been at Hilltop when they were attacked, and basically kind of like he was in the comic. I think it just would have been the same exact thing there too. Christy Wells Reese, Doc, do you think Daryl will take the kids to Europe with him, or will Rick and Michonne come back for them? So I think Daryl goes on his own. I think Carol and the group is going to watch the kids back in Alexandria and the communities there, because the communities will still be going strong. I think Daryl's going to go out on his own. I don't know how the story was supposed to be with Carol and Daryl. I don't know what the story is going to be with Daryl. Maybe he commandeers a boat and he sails over there and goes around. He's like, yep, nobody's here. Got to go back. And I don't know. I don't. The Maggie Negan stuff could fit very well, because if they go from Ohio or Virginia or wherever he's actually leaving from, if it's the Commonwealth in Ohio or Alexandria, Virginia, then they go to New York or New Jersey, because that's where they filmed a lot of it. I don't know if they're going to call it New York, but they filmed a lot of stuff in New Jersey already. I think it could fit very well with where the future of the series goes. Tales of the Walking Dead, it's going to do its own thing. Fear the Walking Dead, I don't have faith in how the stuff's going to connect there. The Daryl thing going to Europe just seems like a really big outlier for it. Like I just don't think it's going to be that good. Michael Singer, August 5th, new Predator show on Hulu. Yeah, it's called Prey, I believe. Like Hunter, Prey, Predator, Prey. I think it's going to be pretty good. I hope it's pretty good as well. I also saw a preview for the movie or the TV. I think it's a show, actually, on Amazon Prime called Samaritan, starring Sylvester Stallone. And he's like a superhero. And it's on Amazon. It's coming out in August, in a couple weeks. Also, if you've ever seen Raising Hope, the Martha Plimpton and John Dory, they are starring that show. They're coming back together on a show called Sprung, and basically John Dory is a prisoner that was let out of prison because of the coronavirus. So then they have to find a place to stay. And it looks pretty good. I think it's on Freevee, what used to be called IMD TV, and it's a good show. Like if you've never watched it, and the fun fact, John Dory Sr. is Martha Plimpton's real father in real life, which I thought was an amazing fact. And if you know who Martha Plimpton is, speaking of Goonies, she's actually in Goonies. And once you see her, look it up. She's a good actress. She's pretty funny. And John Dory Sr., the actor who plays John Dory, is her father. So you're like, wow, that's crazy. That's a nice little fun fact there, too. Rob K. Samaritan looks great. I'm a big Stallone fan. Me, too. I'm a big Sylvester. He's like, hey, yo, I ain't no superhero over here. But I love Sylvester Stallone, too. Big fan of Rocky and all that stuff, too. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, does Negan's wife go with him to Negan and Maggie Waggy spinoff? I don't know. The easy idea is that Negan is going after Annie because Annie was taken or abducted or whatever. So that's the thing that I think would be interesting to see. But I don't think so. I mean, there's been no sightings of her during filming. We've only seen Negan, Maggie, and a young girl that's one of the new cast members. And then walkers and stuff too. But that's the only people they've seen. So, I mean, maybe she's somewhere. Who knows? I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't think he would bring his wife and child or pregnant wife in there too. Masked Ninja, do you think we will see Jeffrey Grimes in the Daryl show? We've never thought of Jeffrey Grimes. He wasn't even mentioned. Rick Grimes has never mentioned he's had a brother on the show. So it wouldn't fit. But, again, I don't have faith right now, unless it's explained a little bit more, that the Daryl show is going to make sense. I mean, Daryl can carry a lot of things, but if the writing's terrible, if it makes no sense whatsoever, it's like, what is this? I mean, I love Daryl and everything, but this story is so far-fetched, and I hope it's not. I think Norman Reedus has enough smarts and sense, and he cares about the Daryl stuff, and he cares about The Walking Dead enough to not sign on for something that doesn't make sense. But that being said, people make bad decisions with stuff all the time too, so I don't know. Lindsay, I saw you say something about Blackbird. She says, I got caught up on Blackbird. Blackbird is a good show. That stars Tagarin Eriton. I don't know how to say his name, but Eggsy from The Watchmen. Or Watchmen. The Kingsman, not Watchmen, Kingsman. And he's played a bunch of different things. He's played Elton John in that movie. And it's based on a true story or inspired by a true story kind of thing. It's crazy. I think there's one more episode. I think it's 6 episodes. It's a Thursday show on Apple TV or Apple Plus, whatever you call it. And if it's like somewhat true, it's a crazy story so far. We have to see how it ends. But it's got Greg Kinnear and a couple actors in it, and Ray Liotta's in it. It was the last project Ray Liotta was in before he died, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what it is. And it's good. I call him Eggsy, but again, it's Tagarin. Again, I don't know how to say his name. I apologize. But I always call him Eggsy. But it's a good show so far. I'm really liking it too. And then Animal Kingdom tonight. I don't know if you like Animal Kingdom or not. I personally love it. And we're getting close to the end of that too. And Better Call Saul, I'll be back on Monday. And we only have 3 episodes of that. Also, if you're a Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul, Bryan Cranston fan, They just, I guess, opened, installed, or put up, or, a bronze statue of Walter White and Jesse Pinkman in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And the bronze statue is pretty cool. It's pretty good. I think Jesse could be a little bit better, but Walter White looks great. But overall, it's pretty crazy to think that where they've come with Breaking Bad universe right there too. But Better Call Saul, 3 episodes left. Animal Kingdom, about, I guess, 3 or 4 episodes left too. I think it's 4 because I think it's 13 is what they're doing there as well. But yep, Rob K, R.I.P. Ray Liotta and James Caan. They were good fellas. See what you did there? They were. But thank you guys. I'll be back next Sunday. Thank you for everybody that has joined and been a part of this, and a subscriber, member, and a patron, all that good stuff. I'll be back next Sunday to talk about a bunch of different things. And I think they're still filming Isle of the Dead in New Jersey. I think they moved away from the filming location that a bunch of people got photos, video, just a lot of good stuff to it, where Maggie and Negan are fighting and they're going at each other and it gets hectic and crazy. So there you go, guys. I'll be back next Sunday. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, making friends, just doing what you do. Keep working hard. I'll be back next Sunday.